Really? Hey guys, welcome back to class. I'm in my home studio, but I wanted to show you how I do an underpainting for acrylic painting and oil painting. So if you're one of those type that's like, I love to oil paint, but I always start off wrong, this is a sure way for you to start off correctly. So let's get started. Come on over to the easel. So I have here my sketchbook set up and it's ready for me to start my underpainting. And for the sketchbook, remember that you can paint it or you can use paper and cover it up and tape around it. But for me, I decided to go ahead and paint this one, okay? So I have my underpainting paint and I like to use burnt sienna. Now, burnt sienna to me is an awesome color to use for underpainting. I didn't feel like washing all of the extra colors off my palette, so I covered it here with wax paper. It runs real smoothly. All you need is this one color for a underpainting, okay? And I put a good amount here. I put like a quarter size. And I like to use a medium to small brush. And I was hoping that my other brushes came in, but they have not. So what I'm going to choose is angle brushes, okay? I have a small angle brush and I have a background angle brush, okay? My water is right next to me. So I like to keep everything in order where it needs to be. Okay. Well, you know what? I want my water on my right side today. All right. And of course, I have my rag right here. And this is so that I can wash excess water off and everything can run smoothly. So I remember telling you guys in class to just have your station where everything runs nice and smooth. Okay. So I have my two brushes here and I like to keep them available just right there on my easel. So guess what, guys? I was at the lake this morning and I was fishing. So yes, I've been up for a minute, right? And we caught some good fish and everything. And I did a nice video of the morning sunrise. And we were just on that lake during sunrise, and it was just totally beautiful. And I love the arrangement of colors that it provided, especially this one. It has some gorgeous pinks in it. And wow, it just pulls out all of those pinks and orange and like I don't know, is almost like a burgundy color. And so I know for sure that I want to create this here sunrise. And I love it too that I took another photo right here with my in-laws on the boat. They were ahead of us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this beautiful sunrise here, and then I'm going to let the rest of the background flow to the other side of my canvas, right? And so I'm going to put, hopefully that don't fall. Perfect. And I have the paint that I'm going to use. I like to start off with my detail brush first and allow myself to actually um, to get draw. I'm gonna basically say draw. I like to draw with my paint brush. So I'm gonna get a little water on my paintbrush here, and I'm going to put my easel on this side. I like there's a little clamp there, so like a hook. 'Cause I don't want to keep going to the right and to the left and everything else. So I'm going to turn that phone off because eventually it's going to be ding, 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 ding. So I hope you guys are having an awesome morning and evening as well. What I'm doing here is I have a lot of water on my brush. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I want to start off light. So let's talk about, before I even start painting, what is an underpainting? All right. Underpainting is when you start to paint the the sketch, basically the sketch of your painting. And not only that, you are creating the underpainting, the colors that are underneath the whole painting or whole image of the other colors. And believe it or not, there is colors under colors. They're like layers of colors reflecting off of each other. And so with the landscape and even a portrait, I tend to like to um, use burnt sienna because it's not too dark and it's not too light. Let's just say I was painting a night scene. Well, I probably would use a burnt umber, okay, because it's nighttime. Or I would use a dark blue, right? And so I'm about to get started. Just now putting this here, there, and bam. All right, so never start a landscape with the land horizon line smack dead in the middle of that paper. You never want to do that, okay? It's something about that horizon line. Either you're going to have it above the middle or you're going to have it below. And for this painting, I want most of my sky to show, want most of my sky to show on my sketchbook because why? I'm mesmerized by the sky, okay? And I'm not using a brush or anything, but I'm staying very light by adding more water. So the more water that I add to my burnt sienna, as you see I'm mixing, the more lighter that color gets. And so I want my bushes here to be similar to what I'm seeing. But again, it doesn't have to be extremely exact, even though this is my own photo reference. And so remember that I'm always telling you guys in class, even these past couple of days that we have been at school, which haven't been long, but it seems like we had done a lot of information. Okay, we got a lot going on for just the first week of class, and I'm very proud of us. Okay, and I did talk about how you want to do your own photo references, right? You don't want to continually paint something that someone else took a photograph, and because photography is an art, okay? And many artists are photographers, not just artists, and they love when their art is represented in a photograph, right? And so right here is just enough for me to get a nice, I think I want that to go a little further up, a nice good representation of, yeah, right there. Nice good representation of my middle ground. This is the middle ground. That is my background. My foreground is going to be that water and the reflection of the water on the lake. And so now I'm going to switch over to my bigger brush because I want another value. I want another value. And I want that value to be darker because why? That middle ground is going to have the darkest color, which is going to be a mixture. I'm never using black, okay? This is one thing a lot of students do. They use straight black out of the two. Well, for me, I like to mix my black because it allows me to have some color in that black. And yes, there is reflections of color in black. Notice how I'm using texture still to represent how the top of those treetops would look. Want to get as much, use as much representation of the real image as I possibly can. So I'm making some of those treetops stick up and outward. I'm giving a real good interpretation. I know that this part is totally dark, so I can even add even more paint on this as it dries. I don't like to glump my paint on at first. I like to start with a nice light layer first. That is important. A nice light layer. That's what I'm doing. I don't have to put a lot of paint at first. I can always go back and I can add more. After all, this is not the final painting. This is the underpainting. This also helped me to figure out values. What is light and what is dark? So obviously, if this is a dark value brown, I wouldn't just come in and put pink as this value, right? Because that is a lighter color than the value color of the color that I want of the brown, right? So value plays a very important factor in all the paintings that you do. And what I also like to do is a great tip for you. I like to, after I paint this, I'll turn it into black and white when I take a photo of it. Yeah. The reason that I do that is so that I can again see the value. Well, I don't even stop there, guys. I do not. I don't stop there. After I've added the color and I'm like, let's just say I am um 85, 90% finished. I'll take a photo of my painting, maybe even less, maybe 75% finished. I'll take a photo of my painting and I will turn it to black and white and I'll compare it to this here monochromatic underpainting. And when I do that, I should have the same values that is in color in black and white from light to dark. Yeah. Well, I notice here on that horizon line, there is a light layer. So I'm going to go a little light under there, a lighter line. And this is going to be a quick landscape. And this paint here is acrylic, okay? I never use, well, I do sometimes. Sometimes I do use all paint, burnt sienna, all paint to do an underpainting, but it defeats the purpose because it dries. It takes so long to dry. And if I use all paint, I've used, let me see if I have it over here. I might not. I use a Magnum. I don't forgot the color I use. It's like a reddish brown color. I'll share that another time. So, but it takes longer for that underpainting of the oil paints to dry, right? So here is that light horizon line of the sky surface on the below the darker area, and then there goes a different value of brown right underneath it. So I'm going to take my time here. I'm going to try to create me a nice horizon line again. Okay, this horizon line is going to be slightly lighter than that one above of these, the tree. Sorry. All right. I'm going to get one more shade darker because this is the reflection of those trees in the horizon line. So I'm going to get a shade darker, keeping that horizon line. And again, I don't want that horizon line to look so straight. No, I'm not going to get a ruler or anything like that. Why? Because it's not completely a straight line there, right? And it might have to dry a little bit. So what I'm going to do is mimic the contour line of the tree above, same thing below, right? So let's see if I can do that, right? It's such a gorgeous day today. It just got a little warm. Side, we had to get off that lake real quick. That sun was starting to come on out. Mhm. Go a little bit lower right there with that section. Back up. And then I notice here there's some more darker reflections in that water on that side. And now I have angled my brush to where the angler is, the angle side. So I can really show some of those ripples that's in the water. You manipulate your brush to do what you want it. And this is an angle brush, it's slightly angled. All right. I'll go darker once it dries. There's a dip right there. So I think I want to make that section a little bit lighter. So I'm taking my water and I'm taking some of that out right there. So that's the best part about creating the underpainting there. I just erased some section that I didn't want. Aha. Yeah. Problem solving. Remember, we talked about problem solving. And that is how you create an underpainting, right? And as I completely go up into the sky, I'm going to do this same thing. And when it's time for me to add color, I know exactly where I want to have my darks and my lights, even though it shows me here in color where I want to have them, right? Thank you for watching, guys. And I'll be updating you on what I have accomplished throughout the evening or at work. Bye bye.